From a man who holds off an entire Allied army in Italy with almost no chance of victory, to a commander whose defenses survived the largest invasion in history, to the officer many historians still call Germany's greatest military mind. These are the 5 greatest German generals of World War II. And number 1 on this list wins battles so brilliant that military academies still study them today. Chapter 5. Albert Kesselring. By early 1944, the Allies believe Italy will fall quickly. Rome is the objective, and the German defenses appear stretched thin after months of fighting. But one question keeps returning. How does one commander keep delaying armies that outnumber him in almost every category? Before we get to what happened next, you need to understand one thing. Albert Kesselring is not originally an army officer. He begins his career in artillery before transferring to the Luftwaffe, where he becomes one of Germany's most capable senior commanders. Unlike many German generals, Kesselring proves comfortable commanding joint operations between the Army and Air Force. That experience becomes invaluable once Germany begins losing control of the skies. In Italy, Kesselring knows he cannot defeat the Allies outright. Instead, he turns mountains, rivers, and narrow valleys into natural fortresses. Every retreat is planned, every bridge is prepared for demolition, every hill becomes another obstacle. The fighting around Monte Cassino becomes some of the hardest combat of the entire European war. Rain turns roads into mud. Artillery echoes through the valleys day and night. Entire towns disappear beneath constant shell fire. The Allies eventually capture Rome, but much more slowly than expected. But here's what nobody talks about. Kesselring's real achievement isn't holding one city. It's delaying Allied armies in Italy for nearly 2 years, while forcing them to commit enormous manpower and resources that might have been used elsewhere in Europe. Even after suffering serious injuries in a car accident during the campaign, he returns to command. His defensive campaign remains one of the most effective prolonged delaying operations of the Second World War. But while Kesselring slows one Allied army, the next man builds defenses against the largest invasion in military history. His name was Walter Model. And this is what happened. Chapter 4. Walter Model. By the summer of 1944, Germany is collapsing on almost every front. Entire divisions are being destroyed. Soviet armies are advancing from the east, while the Western Allies push across France. Then Adolf Hitler sends for one man whenever the situation appears impossible: Walter Model. But one question follows him everywhere. Why does Germany's greatest defensive specialist always arrive when everyone else is already losing? Model earns the nickname Hitler's fireman because he is repeatedly sent to stabilize disasters that seem beyond saving. Unlike many senior commanders, he rarely spends time in distant headquarters. He drives directly to the front, questioning officers, inspecting positions, and issuing orders on the spot. His style is aggressive, blunt, and exhausting for everyone around him. That wasn't even the decision historians remember. During the Battle of the Bulge in December 1944, Model commands Army Group B alongside Field Marshal Gerd von Rundstedt as Germany launches its final major offensive in the West. The attack initially catches Allied forces by surprise, but fuel shortages, determined resistance, and overwhelming Allied air power eventually stop the advance. Months earlier, after the Normandy landings, Model had also taken command of Army Group B during Germany's desperate defense of France. Although he could not stop the Allied breakout, he repeatedly reorganized shattered formations into effective defensive lines, slowing the Allied advance under increasingly impossible conditions. What followed was even harder to explain. Again and again, formations that should have collapsed continue fighting because Model rebuilds them faster than the Allies expect. He cannot change the outcome of the war, but he repeatedly delays it. Walter Model becomes one of Germany's most respected defensive commanders, earning admiration from both German officers and many of his opponents for his ability to restore order under extreme pressure. Yet even Model's defensive skill is overshadowed by the man who transforms armored warfare forever. And what he does next changes modern warfare itself. Chapter 3. Heinz Guderian. In May 1940, French commanders watch German tanks appear where no armored force is supposed to be. Within days, their entire front begins falling apart. The speed is unbelievable. Roads are packed with refugees, abandoned equipment, and retreating soldiers. German tank columns keep moving, barely giving the defenders time to react. Most people remember the tanks. Few remember the man who insisted they should fight this way in the first place. Years before the war, Heinz Guderian argues that tanks should not be spread across the battlefield to support infantry. Instead, they should strike together as one powerful force, moving faster than the enemy can respond. Many senior officers think he is reckless. Guderian thinks they are fighting the last war. When Germany invades France, his ideas are finally tested. After crossing the Meuse River at Sedan, Guderian drives west without waiting for slower infantry formations to catch up. Some of his superiors order him to stop, worried that his spearheads have gone too far. He ignores them. But here is what nobody talks about. If Guderian pauses, France has time to rebuild its defenses. Instead, his armored corps races nearly 200 miles to the English Channel, trapping hundreds of thousands of British and French troops in northern France. The campaign that many expected to last for months is effectively decided in just 6 weeks. Military academies still study Guderian's campaigns because they demonstrate how speed, communication, and concentrated armor can collapse an enemy long before its soldiers stop fighting. His ideas help shape modern armored warfare long after World War II ends. Guderian changes how wars are fought. The next man changes how a legend is made. Subscribe if you're enjoying this. New stories every week. Chapter 2. Erwin Rommel. The British think the Germans are too weak to launch another attack. By sunrise, German tanks are already behind their lines. Dust fills the air as engines roar across the North African desert. Supply trucks struggle through the sand while temperatures climb well above 100 degrees. Every mile forward stretches German fuel supplies thinner. Yet Rommel keeps attacking. The question is simple. How does a commander with fewer men and fewer tanks keep defeating larger Allied armies? Rommel understands that speed can create the illusion of strength. He constantly shifts his forces, strikes unexpected positions, and attacks before the enemy can reorganize. His bold style earns him the nickname, the Desert Fox. Then comes Tobruk. In June 1942, Rommel launches a rapid assault against what many believe is one of the strongest Allied positions in North Africa. The fortress falls in less than 2 days. More than 30,000 Allied soldiers are captured. Hitler promotes Rommel to field marshal. But that isn't the victory historians remember most. Rommel's greatest enemy is logistics. Every mile his army advances toward Egypt makes fuel, ammunition, and replacement vehicles harder to deliver. By the time he reaches El Alamein, his offensive has lost the momentum that made him famous. The Allies, now reinforced and better supplied, stop him for good. Rommel never wins the war in North Africa, but his ability to outfight stronger armies with fewer resources earns him the respect of both friends and enemies alike. Even Allied commanders later study his campaigns. Rommel becomes one of the most famous generals in history. But one German commander was even more brilliant. His victories are still taught in military academies around the world. Chapter 1. Erich von Manstein. By the winter of 1943, the German army is collapsing across the Eastern Front. Entire divisions are retreating. Soviet forces believe they finally have the momentum to break Germany for good. Then one commander does something almost nobody thinks is possible. He attacks. Cold wind cuts across the frozen Ukrainian plains as German tanks roll forward through snow and ice. Soviet commanders expect another retreat. Instead, they run straight into a counteroffensive. How does a commander launch an attack when almost everyone else is trying to survive? Unlike many German generals, Erich von Manstein doesn't simply react to the enemy. He studies where they're strongest, where they're weakest, and more importantly, where they think they're safe. His greatest strength isn't bravery, it is timing. That becomes clear in early 1943 after Germany's disaster at Stalingrad. While Soviet armies continue pushing west, Manstein waits for them to overextend. Once they do, he strikes. The result is the Third Battle of Kharkov. German armored forces hit Soviet spearheads from multiple directions, forcing them into a chaotic retreat before recapturing the city. It becomes one of Germany's last great operational victories of the war. But that wasn't the achievement historians remember most. 2 years earlier, during the invasion of France, Manstein develops the operational concept behind the attack through the Ardennes forest, a bold plan that many German commanders initially dismiss as too risky. Once adopted, it helps deliver one of the fastest military victories in modern history. Later, on the Eastern Front, his campaign in Crimea leads to the capture of Sevastopol after months of heavy fighting, demonstrating his ability to combine artillery, infantry, and armor with remarkable precision. Again and again, Manstein wins battles against larger forces through planning instead of numbers. Even many Allied historians consider him Germany's finest operational commander of the Second World War. His greatest weakness is one he can never overcome. No battlefield brilliance can change the political leadership directing the war. By 1944, repeated disagreements with Adolf Hitler over military strategy lead to his dismissal from command. His campaigns are still studied today because they show what operational leadership looks like at the highest level. For that reason, Erich von Manstein stands as the greatest German general of World War II. These 5 commanders fought on different fronts, led different armies, and had completely different personalities. Yet they all shared one thing. They understood that wars aren't won by courage alone. They're won by decisions, sometimes made in minutes, that shape entire campaigns. History remembers Germany's defeat, but military professionals still study these men because their battlefield decisions continue to influence military thinking nearly 80 years later. Subscribe for more videos like this.